Welcome to day 2. Not before 2. So day 2 of the Abundance Challenge. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Today was good. So one thing I noticed from the pattern of doing this a couple times now is that day 1 is all about getting that expansion so you can kind of see yourself as more than just this like kind of grubby body sort of being kind of feeling. And then day 2 is kind of all about pulling yourself out of the muck and getting really like clear on the intention of what you are. So with that said, the biggest thing I want to point out in number 2 statement is this capitalized I am. So it's really important to know, if you don't know already. First of all, I would go watch The Secret, so I'll just put that out there. But then there was a movie that was made after The Secret, which I think just about every one of you has seen. And the movie is called The Moses Code. And it's kind of the follow-up to, it's called Beyond the Secret. So it's like the follow-up beyond that. And it talks about I am that I am, which is something that Moses says all the time. And it's really about being aware of the fact that when you say I am, you're actually sending out the vibrational frequency of the God source within yourself. So you're calling things into being. It's basically the code for doing that in our language. So it's really important to know that when in that day 2, he's like placed I am in there in all capitals. It's like to know the divine presence, I am. He's pointing it out even here. He's going the divine presence. We just talked about divine presence yesterday and what that is. It's all that is, right? And then today is to know that the divine presence, I am, not out there, I am, is the source and substance of all my good. And by all my good, he's talking about all my wealth, all my abundance, everything, all my good or goods. You can think of it that way. So he's calling and he's having us meditate, and by him, I'm talking about Price, is having us meditate on this knowing that we are this abundant creative source, and we source everything around us and our substance. That is our life that we live through. So the first time I did this, so I'm ahead of you guys purposely, so that I make sure that I get some really good content every single time we do this. So when I first did this, I realized that I was repeating the statement over and over, and as I was doing so, I realized that the brain, or the way that I've worked this reality for 29 years, say, has been that I am separate from it. So I view it outside of myself. I've been a big fan of like making I am affirmations and saying the I am affirmations. But I was realizing that I had a disconnect. And the disconnect was that the I am statement was on a piece of paper, and I could look and view it and say it, hear my voice, maybe feel it a little bit, but it probably wasn't going to do anything for me. And that was kind of my separate feeling from the whole thing. And I realized here in day 2 that this separation was my way of like viewing the reality. But it wasn't allowing myself to be integrated again into the broth like we talked about yesterday, and actually in the substance of being supported by all that is. Instead it was like a viewing tunnel. And that's always how I've kind of like lived my life. So what a crazy concept to again realize the separation. So through doing this day 2, I realized the integration. So I felt definitely this kind of pouring of knowledge down into my crown chakra and down into the heart, into the rest of the body, and this connection into all that is the source, and not viewing it separately, but viewing the source from within myself and outside of myself, flowing like the broth does. So I found that really important. And so the visual that came to me as I was doing this was really funny. So the visual is this, that I was sitting there tinkering on different pieces of this car, okay? I had been working on all different aspects of this car, been working on the motor. Oh, look, this little lug nut needs to be turned in here perfectly. And I was so close to it that all I could see was the different parts and pieces of the car and how it needed to be fixed, and everything needed to be perfect in order for me to ever drive the vehicle. So I'm looking at all these different pieces. And I realized that I could, in a second, I was like, working on the horn was kind of like the last thing. I'm putting the horn in, and I'm realizing I like step back, and I'm like, the car is fine. The car has pretty much always been fine. I've been perfecting something that was already running and doing a good job, and not enjoying the vehicle that I had. And so in this visual, I was like, okay, get rid of these dirty rags, toss that. I'm going to go inside, grab a freaking awesome outfit, and get ready to drive this thing. It's beautiful white convertible, like from the 50s. Amazing. So I like drop the rag, run in, come out, I'm looking steezy, and I hop in the car and I just take off, and I'm driving through the hills of California and just enjoying this little roadster and driving around in it and realizing that all the parts and pieces were already there and they were already perfect. There were little things that were imperfect, but they made that vehicle, for me, the most beautiful and perfect thing, because it wasn't quite perfect. But I was okay, and I had accepted it. And through that acceptance and knowing that it was okay and it was going to run no matter what, I could go out and enjoy it and have fun. So I think that's a real like montage to our lives, that a lot of us sit and like think that we're so like that we need to fix ourselves somehow. Like, if I fix this part of me, then I'll be able to have this thing that I want. And if I go and the next thing, okay, I fixed that, so now I'm going to fix this, and then I can have that thing. But I can't have any fun or go out there and enjoy my life until I've fixed every little aspect of myself. And then what we end up doing is sitting in the garage, fixing, looking at all these things really close up, and never really experiencing our life and going out there and just enjoying it. So that is, I think, the lesson from day 2, is really just to be accepting and realize that you're okay and just enjoy it. So with that, I would really highly suggest, if you haven't seen The Secret, go watch The Secret. I feel like everyone's seen that. It's on Netflix. Also, there's the Moses Code, which I'm just going to go ahead and get you the link right now, and you can watch that. And that's the I am statement, so you can understand like what he's talking about there, even though I've explained it a little bit. It's like an hour-long movie, and it's really interesting to watch if you're into this stuff. So hang on with me and go watch that. Also, if you guys still need the worksheet, I'm sure you can find it on some links below. If not, just message me and let me know, and I'll get you that worksheet. There was something else that was really coming to me, and now I've lost it, and I'm like, ugh. It was good, too. It was real good. Something to do with homework that they wanted you to do. 1 second, please. Let me see if I can figure it out again. They would really, so I'm talking to my guides, they would really love it if today, if you had time, they say watch that movie if you can, and start visualizing. It's important to visualize the things that you want, because that's the vehicle that operates, and you need to actually be in whatever it is that you choose to visualize for your life, the things that you want. If it's money, you need to look at your life and say, what would I do with the money? How would that make me as a person, and what would I do? And be in the doing of whatever that thing is and visualizing it. And if you can touch things, you know, with your mind's eye and in your imagination. They want me to point to that. Okay, so in day 2, we also had in the very beginning of the statement, I lift my mind and heart to be aware. And they were saying that even though I'm on day like 12. They're like, go ahead and include this now. So my mind would be, hang on, I wrote this down this morning. They want us to be present and aware and realizing that the mind is imagination. And through the imagination is how we create our reality. So go ahead and start making I am affirmations. So an I am affirmation would be like, I am so excited that I have 10 grand that I can go and go on this amazing vacation. Something like that. So if you're going to say a statement with money, that you have that amount of money, then what would you do with that money? How would it make you feel? Okay, I have 10 grand, which means I have some set away in savings, which makes me feel so safe, so comfortable, so happy, so alive. I can go live my life and not worry about paying the next bill. I'm just so excited. I'm just on this next level. Then you have to pretend and act as if that's really true. Children do this really well. They go out there and they pretend all the time, and they have no problems doing so. And they don't care if people think they're crazy. So you have to start pretending you are the person you want to be. Okay? So that's like a hack, a like abundance hack. Okay? So that's hugely important. They want you to go ahead and start doing that. If you need help with the I am affirmations, let me know. I will probably share some with you tomorrow. And it looks like day 3, we are also doing some more stuff with I am. So that will just lead into that. All right, that's it for me today. I hope you guys find this valuable. I love you. Bye.